Have you ever gotten this little guy in the mail for FABTECH Expo and wondered what it entails? Well, you're about to find out. Well, after using the code that we were sent, we actually received a free pass, and you can kind of see here a few things. So I'll show you my registration. The free pass includes quite a bit. You can see there's a keynote speaker that I can go see. The Leadership Exchange Navigating Automation is a free one to check out. Women Leading the Way in Welding, that was another free one. There's some welding sessions that were free. And yeah, the other ones that I added was, I did add the Women of FABTECH breakfast, which is $40 just because I want to check that out. And Industry Night is another one that I added for $75 just to check that out. But other than that, most of the items on this list were free. There are so many other seminars that you can check out for free, and it actually gives you an all-inclusive pass to check out the hall and all of the exhibitors that are there. So we're excited. I should mention quick, you do not have to add any of these extras that cost money. There are a ton of free seminars. There are even networking events after FABTECH ends that are free. So you could check this out for free and not even pay any of this extra money that I did. Okay guys, so just so you know, probably one of the best things that we did for FABTECH and for the trip was we actually printed off a list, the exhibitor list, before we went. And we went through and we marked every vendor that we kind of wanted to see because, to be honest, if you look at this last page, there's almost 2,000 vendors at FABTECH Expo. So it can be kind of overwhelming. So what you can do is you can print off the list, you can go through, you can star which booths you specifically want to see. And then what I did is I went through each map, and there's like an A level, a B level, and a D level. So I went through and I starred all those different ones that we wanted to see. And then basically I went through each map. I went through the A level, and then I starred the map with, well, let me go grab the map. Yeah, so as I was saying, for example, so we'd go through and we'd star everyone that we wanted, and then we went through like the B level, for example, here, and we would star it on the actual map itself. Now, when you get to the event, they are going to give you a larger map. The larger map is great. The only concern I had is it did not have all these names on it. So I ended up using my lower map, or my smaller map, more than my actual larger map. So yeah, just a heads up if you guys want to plan your trip a little bit better and be able to actually get around. And that is just around to all the booths that you do specifically want to see. Obviously, you're going to get distracted, so it's going to take you a lot longer to get around than you expect, but it's a great time and great experience. Getting ready here to leave for FABTECH Expo. Very excited. I registered for the early bird special, so I actually got a free pass. I think this is actually just because I have a membership with the American Welding Society, so the AWS. I pay my membership fee every year and get to be a part of that. I did actually just get some extra exciting news. So I was going to take this trip myself. It's actually about noon on Sunday, September 6th, 2025, and my generous boyfriend Matthew Posh actually decided that he wants to tag along. He's not necessarily part of my company, but he is very much my support system, and he helps me in a lot of ways. He's probably actually my main volunteer probably for multiple material arts, and just really helps me out with so many things. And like I say, he's been my backbone really. And so he decided that he wants to come along with. I do realize because, or actually it's the 7th, I suppose, yeah. So the 5th was the deadline for the early bird special, so I'm not going to be able to get him in for free, but I'm looking forward to getting him in and getting this all done. I'm actually, as silly as it is, I'm going to show you guys a video here of how close I was to getting ready to leave. So I have my car all packed, actually. Well, most of the way packed. I finished cleaning it yesterday. I set up my whole bed in there, and I got all my clothes in there this morning, and then he mentioned this, and I do think it's a really good idea just because Chicago, you never know what can happen there. I mean, I don't know. I'm not trying to be biased or anything, but I'm just a little white gal, and yeah, Chicago's big. So I was gonna go there myself just because I kind of have the courage, and I always know that kind of, I don't like to get religious, but I know God is always with me, and that has also been confirmed by other people that I listen to. So yeah, here we go. I'm gonna show you guys that clip, and then next thing you know, we'll be on the road here this afternoon. Take care. Alright, so it's actually not probably quite all the way packed, but I still need to get my cooler in here, but this is about how close I was. So we're going to be moving from the Bramber, as we call her, over to the 6-0 Tahoe. So should be a fun time regardless. Like I say, I'm kind of glad he's coming with. Show you guys a little orangey here because she came over. She wants some love. And yeah, get everything switched around, pack a little more, and make some lunch. Alright guys, so we're finally taking off here. We just left about 10 minutes ago from our place in Rice, just because of a little hiccup based on, like I said, our fun little chauffeur here joining the trip. So we got our Take and Bake pizza, just left and heading to Chicago. It's about an 8-hour drive, but we'll probably stop partway through. See you soon. FABTECH. Alright guys, so we just arrived in parking lot B at McCormick Place, so we're gonna head in here. It's day 1 of FABTECH. We arrived a little late, but that's alright. We're here, it's about 9:30, so we'll get our passes and see what it's all about. Another cool extra that we did, I wish I would have actually taken a video of my sample, although my test was not very good. We decided to be a part of the AWS welding competition this year in Chicago. So you pay 20 bucks and you get to do a little weld test, and basically it's so worth the $20. Look at what you get in this little bag. So you get some socks, you get a little cooler or face wrap thing, neck wrap. You get a free shirt, you get all these stickers, You get a marker, and then you even get these nice, very, very nice badges. Little steel pens, you know, that you can put on your shirt or whatever, on a hat. So, well worth the $20 spent there. Thank you to the American Welding Society for hosting a competition. Here's the little bag that it came in. I don't know if that's really important, but just to show off all the sponsors, basically, who actually put this together, because that's incredible. So you spend 20 bucks, you get all this stuff, and you get to be part of a cool competition and just see how you do. So Matt and I are a little different breed when it comes to traveling. We always like to stay at campsites and just save a little bit of money. So we stayed at Camp Sullivan for only $45 and got to stay in a little camp spot. Alright guys, here we are at FABTECH Day 2. This morning we actually had the women's breakfast, so we're going to check that out. That was not part of the free pass. That was actually just a little $40 ticket that I thought would be really cool to meet some other ladies in manufacturing. So we're going to go check that out, and then we'll go check out another thing full of women speakers. That was a free event actually that you could attend. So yeah, let's see how today goes.
And we start, again, we can't just stop thinking of what we have to do. Replace them with a different way of thinking. We can literally rewire our brain and therefore transform not only our mental and physical health, but
making our way home here, Matt and I, and basically had a really good time at FABTECH, listened to some amazing speakers. Really quite an awesome morning, honestly, while listening to the Women of FABTECH speech, to all the amazing women speakers, which I'll put a video together later of who those were, just so that then I don't mix up the names. But here in downtown Chicago, so I'm going to stop the video for a second and turn it around. Got the downtown art of Chicago, of course. Just waiting on Matt. He's grabbing us a pizza for supper, and we're going to make our way home. So we only spent 2 days at FABTECH this year, but what an amazing experience. Thank you to everyone who decided to meet with us, from Nikita and Brandon over at Kita Fab, all the way to Ray Ripple, to Alice and Paula, to, Jason and Miranda from Chas and Smoke, or I'm sorry, I know I probably butchered that. But yeah, just really appreciate all you guys, and thank you for an amazing FABTECH experience. Wow. It's crazy to see all the technology that's changed and evolved, and looking forward to maybe going next year again in Las Vegas and checking out what other upgrades there are on the market. So yeah, if you like this video, please like and subscribe. And like I said, this is basically just kind of a couple videos mixed together of the experience of FABTECH, from just a basic car ride down here, not trying to bore you guys, to day 1 and day 2, to heading home. Yeah, not too much, but really appreciate you guys. And the experiences that we went through was the free pass that you can get from like being part of the AWX with that early bird special, and you can even get a friend in for free. That's how I got Matt in. And then we did pay for a few extra experiences, so I paid for the Women of FABTECH breakfast, so that was $40, but totally worth the speaker and the time and everything that you're going to get out of it. And then we also paid for industry night, and that was also a great experience. Man, we got to meet some amazing people, Jason and Miranda, and then they introduced us to another gentleman. He has Maker Table, I believe, and also another company. So thank you guys again. What an amazing experience, and looking forward to next year. So this is just a really cool truck that we saw on the way home, and you get tons of freebies when you go to FABTECH. So you get tons of free bags, your badge, a Fab to Finish project. You get tons of free stickers and get to meet tons of cool people. You get all these different magazines and things that you can read for content, a bunch of business cards and other little goodies. So again, this was Michaela Ashfeld from Multiple Material Arts. Thank you so much for watching. Please be sure to like and subscribe, and we'll see you next time.